the session. So let's start with what we have done, and uh, after wrapping up the things, we will start up the session. As there was a 2 days of gap comes, so let's have a look. So far we have understood what is Azure and all, right? So the basic what is a cloud, what is the different concepts of Azure and all that we have gone through. Uh, and we have also completed successfully how to set up our, you can say, oh, account. I hope how many of you have set up the account? I think most of you have set up the account, if I am not wrong. Yeah. If not, please make sure that please create your account. While creating, if you feel any issue or while creating of any problem, just let me know so that I will look after that. Okay. Yeah. Now let's start with the today's agenda. Agenda for the day. Agenda for the day is to understand what is user and user groups and what is resource and resource groups, right? How to create a resource group in our Azure portal. So we have a root, something known as subscription, right? The first name is called subscription. Under that, we have, under the subscription, what we have? We have user resources. So to handle the users, we have one service called Azure Entra ID. What we call it is Azure Entra ID or Microsoft Entra ID, we simply called, okay? Microsoft Entra ID. So this is also known as Active Directory of Microsoft for cloud, okay? So we have Active Directory in on-premises for user management, right? How many of you know Active Directory? I don't know, but there is a feature is available in Microsoft that you can manage your users centrally. That is known as by using Active Directory if you want to install in your on-premises. Similarly, if you want to set up the same kind of setup in cloud, so what we have for the users for central user management, we have Azure Entra ID. Now, what is meant by central user management? As you are logging in from, let's say I logged in as Vishnuraj432007 at the gmail.com. So you people may have your own users, right? So from where you are actually logging in, user is created somewhere in your Google area, right? So that kind of Google. So like you may have the Google Gmail account, like me, like everyone used to have their own Gmail account, right? Where this Gmail accounts created, it generally created in any of the central user management area. That central user management can be one of the product that is Microsoft Entra ID. Either it may be Active Directory, either it may be a this kind of Entra ID. Cloud services, then it is a Entra ID. Otherwise, we call it as IAM. We call it as IAM, Identity and Access Management. Okay. So in the identity and access management here, Microsoft Entra ID or Azure Entra ID, we can create users, user groups, and their permissions. So what is the Azure portal IAM? What is the IAM in Microsoft Cloud?
Identity access.
What is IAM? What is IAM for Microsoft Cloud? That is Azure Cloud, which is Azure Entra ID or Microsoft Entra ID. Okay. What we call it as Microsoft Entra ID is the Microsoft Cloud IAM. IAM is a process. IAM means Identity and Access Management. Okay. So through which we can create users, user groups, and we can manage their permissions. Like we have our, see, this is our computer, right? So this is our computer. When I go here, when I do right click here, there's an option called computer management. if I want to log in as a user, see, I log in as a lavish user, right? How I can create this lavish user? Yeah. So how I can create this lavish user? So for that we use one known as, there's something called local users and groups. Users I can create here, like I created lavish user, test user, and whatever the name if I created, I can, by using that particular user, I can log in into this particular system. Similarly, in the groups, I can also create something known as permissions with the permission, like administrator, power user, like a common user, limited user. So what is meant by group? Group is the one who is having the same kind of, whoever the part of that group, they will have same kind of permissions. We can allot permission to the one group, so that if you join the users into that group, you will have that power. Like what I can say, if I create 3 users or 4 users, let's say I am creating 2 group of users. Okay, one group is known as admin group. Okay, I'm creating one group called admin group. So what is a user group? Admin group. So first we will generally create a group like admin group, power group, power user group. So in the admin group, let's say I add Elisha, I add Kalyan, I add Pradeep. Now in a power group, I will add Vyas, I will add Laksh, I will add, let's say, Shokini. Okay. Now see how I can how I can add first. First I will create groups in the IAM. Then I will create user 1 Elisha, user 2 Kalyan, user 3 Pradeep, user 4 Vyas, user 5 Lak, user 6 Shokini. So first I will create all the 6 users and 2 groups, and I will add the members into this particular groups, right? Like so. And how I can create admin permissions and power user? Then I need to go to, that is known as IAM area, that is also known as access management area. So where permissions will be there, what will be there? Where permissions will be there. So these permissions, like if you want to have an admin, generally you used to have 3 permissions, like full permission, write permission, read permission. If you want to create a power user, then you may have only 2 permissions, like write permission, read permission. Okay, so what is meant by write, what is meant by read is of course like a modification option is there, but full means you can also delete if you wish. If you wish, you can also delete, but here you can only change and you can read that particular, you cannot read that particular, you cannot delete that particular activity. You can also create another group called limited user group, that is also known as general user group. Let's say Vishnu and Lepke, Lavish, Lepke, and Divya. We 3 are the common users. So we will have only what permissions? Only one permission called read permission, because I am a common user. I am a limited user. I don't have right to write anything. I can only read the data. I can only read the data. I cannot delete or modify the data. So those people call it as user group. Similarly, for SOC, when we create SOC environment, right? For a SOC, we used to have multiple people, right? Let's say if you create Sentinel, so Sentinel works on which principle? CDIR, right? Collect, detect, and investigate, finally respond. Collect, detect, investigate, and respond. So for the collection and detection, there will be L1 people, right? Who is called it as security analyst. Okay. For investigation, there are L2 people. We call it as senior security analyst, right? There are some people who is in L2. There are some people call it as administrators who will admin. There are responder. We call it as another L2 guys who are called it as automation engineers, playbook managers, automation engineers. And overall, you may have something known as lead, L3 people. We call it as SOC lead. Now we have different roles, right? So L1, L2, L2, and L3. And everyone has its own scope. The persons who are analysts, they don't do with your configuration and all, right? They don't do any configuration. But the admin can do both analysis as well as rule creation, modification, and another hunting activities he will do, right? Automation engineer, they don't get into this in these two, but they will do some playbooks, right? Creation of playbooks. And the SOC lead will have, he don't know, he don't do major activity. Let's say he is a all and soul of every activity. So he must get L1 require password, L2 permissions, as well as L3 permissions. So L1 will have only L1 permission. L2 will have L1 plus L2. L3 will have both L1 plus L2 plus L3, right? So he will have 3 permissions. So he is considered he is an admin. Then L2 will become power user and L1 become limited user, right? So similar fashion, we can create these groups in IAM to provide the access to the SOC people, right? So Sentinel will be created in portal, right? Which portal? Azure portal. Azure portal. When you create this Azure portal, you must give the permission, then only you can get into this particular systems or this particular portal. Otherwise, how will you go and manage this portal? You cannot manage, right? Until unless you create. So now we will create some users like this particular SOC analyst, SOC analyst admin, SOC lead, and SOC manager is also there. Let's say there is a one more guy who is known as SOC manager. But this guy doesn't require anything, but he wants to have all the visibility. So he will have only SOC read role. He can have only SOC read role. He will see L1, L2, L3 all, but only read role. Because SOC manager generally don't sit and do the activity. Right? Am I right or wrong? So similarly, we will create now the same scenario we will create in our groups. Okay. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go to portal.azure.com. See, I think it is open. Yeah. So my portal is there. So what is the hierarchy? First, subscription, check the subscription, whether the subscription is up or not. First to always, you need to check this, whether my subscription is active or not. Day before yesterday only, on 30th, it got renewed, I know. So right now there is no payment so far. No worry, because as this is a original account, production account, I need to check all the time. So what is my payments, how much it is getting happened. Okay. So now the current cost is something like 0 cost. So no problem. I will create first users. Let's say for that where I should go. For that where I should go. What is my user creation? What is that? What is that? What's the service name? Just now I told, right? What is the service name? That is Microsoft Entra ID. Yes, Microsoft Entra ID. So I will go to Microsoft Entra ID. I will type here Microsoft, or you just type Entra ID in short. Entra. See, as soon as I type Entra, I got the first one, Microsoft Entra ID. I'll just simply click on it. Once the enter ID is ready, there is an option called manage. In the manage, you have users and you have groups. So what I will create first, let's say I will create users first so that we can test whether we can create users or not. So let's say I am deleting all the users except admin. Okay. Rest I don't want because these are the older users. Okay. Now if I refresh, all will gone, only one left. So this is how you can see whenever you created your account, you will have one user called like this. Okay. So now if I want to create any user, how can I create? So there are two types of creation again. One is internal creation, one is external user creation. Very simple. So you just create a new click. When you click on it, there's an option called create a user, invite an external user. If you have any Gmail account, you want to call that people, you can create, you can request. Let's say I have a Gmail account with me, right? You have just seen I have a Gmail account with me. This is VishnuRaj432007, and I want to give this same user permission to this particular external Gmail account. If I want to give to this, I don't want to create any new. I want to give it to the same. So I will call it as a invite external user. So in this invite, so I will add the email ID. Let's say display name is Vishnuvardhan. So we created a user for you. Use the same user to login Azure portal. Okay, I'm giving the message like this. Okay, now just next. So give the first name if you want to give all these things. Of course, generally we used to give what is the blood group, what is the mobile number, all those things. Then go next. Now, what is the role of this particular person? So I can give the role or I can add to any group. Like right now, I don't have any group. So what I will do, I will add a role directly. I can give the permission directly to the individual. Let's say he is a global reader. Global reader. He can read my system globally, but he is the only reader. Like I said, L3 lead expert is he can read, but he cannot update anything. Okay. So now I am selecting. See, role has been added. Now go next. See, as soon as you create invite, so it creates a user. See, now once the user is created, how the users looks like? See, the user is invited. So now if I refresh, see it will come up. Wait a minute. See, one user is created. Now what is the username? So this will be the username. See, very big, right? Vishnu underscore 2007 underscore gmail.com. External on which platform? Sentinel0225 on Microsoft.com. So you can you can copy, or you can go to the mail of that individual. Let's say if I go to the mail of individual, you might have also got the mail to log in. See, there is a Sentinel advice invited to access their organization. See, so domain is this, and if you want to accept, you can just click on it. It will directly drag you to your area. See, of course, it's going to again admin, but you can copy this, copy link address, go to, let's say, incognito mode, private. So if I log in like this, you will get an option here to log in with your credential. See, it is asking me. Uh, mm, it's the multi code it is asking. Is asking QR to scan. See, now it will get next. See, it is using 432,007@gmail.com to get signed in. See, now I got a activity permission. See, now this is my user, right? Similarly, when I go portal.azure.com also, right? It will use the same user to take you there. See, Vishnuraj 432,007. See, external user login, right? So now when you see the subscription, right? Subscription also, you can see the Trinix subscription. Okay, right now I have not given that permission, so yet not given. So you can wait. It will show. Okay, but you can see when I go to this area, you can see the users. Users, when you go to manage and see the users, same users you can see. See, Vishnuvardhan and Sentinel Advice. See from the Vishnu. Similarly, the admin. But if you want to delete any of these, you can't. Now you are a global reader, right? If I want to delete this admin, you cannot delete. See, there is no delete option. If you want to click on this also, right? You cannot delete because you are the only reader. Because I have given him only reader permission, right? So this is how we can create a first external people. If you want to call external people, you can call it like this. So what is the purpose? So you don't require to create any users locally, and the same with the same users with the same password of external user, people can got collected into your system. So which will be one of the easiest methods. So you don't require to remember the passwords of others. Got it? Guna, you have any queries?
Delete, then what to do?
Huh?
At all, I want to delete that external user.
So for that, you have to log in as a admin user, right? So this is a Vishnu user, right? This is the external user. So let's say, and he doesn't have the permissions to delete, right? So who can delete? Admin can delete. Admin can delete. See, if I want to delete, I will select, I can delete. See here in the admin group, in the admin user, by using the admin user, I can delete. See, I can delete. If I want, I can delete. See, I have deleted. See, you deleted, it's gone. It hardly infringes. But if you must and should have the permissions. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So now create a local internal users. Now it's time for creation of local internal users, then creation of groups. So let's start with one by one. Create a new user. I will start with Pradeep. See, when I type Pradeep, what is the full name? Pradeep @sentinel0025.onmicrosoft.com. This will be his principal name. Okay. This will be his total entirely his principal name. Display name is, let's say, Pradeep. When he logs in, he will get something like this. And you can create a password. Let's say I am generating right now auto password. Oh, no, it creates an issue. So I am creating a password. Chalo. Right. So I'm creating directly first without anything. Okay. So one user created in the name of Pradeep. Similarly, I am created in the name of Laksh. Laksh. See, name Laksh. Password is, let's say, this. Could you please mute? Right. Review and create. See, Lakshya is also added. So similarly, I'll also create one more user called Kalyan. So the password will also, let's say this. Review and create. So I'm not giving any such kind of permissions as of now. I'm just creating a user without any permissions. Okay. So let's say Hemant. See how simple, right? Creation of user is very simple. So now, right, view and create. See, users are created, 4 users created. Okay. Now I will also create something like Lakshmi. Yes. So almost like I have created 5 users. Right. I will add one more last. Let's say Shogini. Right. Review and create. Now all 5 members have been added. Sorry, 6 members have been added. Okay. Where it is? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now their respective user. If I want to share their name, so if someone wants to log in, they will log in. Like if Hemant wants to log in into the same portal with his permissions. Now, right now I have not given any permissions. Just I created the user. Let's see whether Hemant will able to log in or not. We can go to, let's say, incognito mode. Let's say portal.azure.com. Let's try. Okay, I think it's already there. So let's log out Vishnu external user. Log in with the Hemant user. Let's create. I'm going again incognito mode. Portal.azure.com. Let's say if Hemant wants to log in, you can see Hemant @ sentinel0225. This is what the is one, right? If Hemant is my employee, I will give him this credential with the password. Okay. So now he will log in with the password. So current password is this. The new password will be something like this. Fine. So let's keep account secure. Go next. Okay, it's asking me to authenticate by authenticate rep. Nowadays, it's mandatory to do this. Okay, I'm scanning and doing the authenticator. By using the authenticate rep, I can go. So 15, right? 15. Done. The authenticator app is completed activation. Okay. Multi-factor authentication is now completed. So now I'm getting into Hemant user as a Hemant user, see, right? But when you see the subscription, you cannot see anything because no permissions I have given, right? No data. Similar to that, I have not given any permissions. Similar to your go to, let's say, enter ID, you will not even, I think you may able to see or not. I am not very sure, but you can see. I think you can see. Similarly, he cannot delete as he don't have any permissions. See, he cannot delete any of the users. See, if I select, it is not activating. But whereas as an admin, I can able to delete. See, but in this area, he cannot delete because I have not given any permission to him right now, right? So we come to know that yes, people can log in it and they can see the basic things, that is user read permissions are common. Read permissions are common. We can do that. Now it is successfully understood. We can create and we can log into it. Now we want to do a groups. We want to do a groups as per our requirement. So what we'll do, I will go back again to my home and I will again go to enter ID. This time I want to create groups. See, there's an option here called groups. In the groups, I want to create there are total 10 groups are there, all groups. So these are older groups. So I want to delete all groups first. Delete all groups. Let all groups will be required to delete. See, there is no groups. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to create a new group. What is a group name? Group name is global admin. Let's say group name is administrator group, or we call it as SOC administrator group. SOC admin group. You cannot keep space between the name. Either you can keep hyphen or you have to give a underscore. Okay. So if you want to give any description, this is a SOC admin group. Okay. So now who is the owner, who is the member? So you can allot one person as a owner, like we used to have a one monitor in a school. So you can create a owner so that he will have a full permission, rest will have a power user permissions. So you can select one user. Let's say I am allotting Kalyan will be the security admin member. Okay. Now one person added. Now for the members, so I can select, let's say, Laksh and Pradeep are the two members. Okay. So now I create a group. Okay. So SOC admin group as created. So when you refresh, the group will be shown. Similarly, I want to create one more group. This is SOC analyst group. As I said, the space will not work. Analyst GROUP, right? This is analyst group. Okay, it's not mandatory to provide the description. So again, now I'm allotting one owner for this. Let's say who else completed? Let's say Varlakshmi will be the owner for this group. And members, let's say Shokini and who are else? Who are there? Hemant is already given, right? Kalyan done. Laksh is not given, I think. Hemant has not given. Okay, let's say Hemant is the two people. Hemant is the one guy and Shogini. Shogini is the another. Right. So we have created groups. We have created the users also. And we have allotted. But the problem here is by writing, he will not get the permissions, right? I have to allot the roles. So now I need to give the permission to individual. So there is a group. admin group, unlist group. But how can I make this is an admin group, this is an unlist group? How can I create? So for that, first I need to select that group, and under that there is an option activity privilege identity management. Right? I can select, I can go here. Okay. So when I go here, okay, if I go, when I go to the groups, see roles and responsibilities. When I go to the group, there's an option here, roles and administrators, right? So when I click on this, now I can allot the, right now there is no permissions. So if I want to attach anything, I can add roles to this, okay? I can add roles to this. Group memberships, here is also there, add membership. So if I give memberships, so roles and administrator, why it is not selecting? Because I need some licenses is required. So right now I am not using that capability. So what rather than that, there's a group membership is also there, similar to. But this is having some extra features. This is a some less permission. You have to add it from here, membership from here. Okay. Let's say roles, it's not giving me the permissions, right? So I need to enable this. Without this, I cannot do. Let's say free trial is there. I see. I need to enable this. Enter ID P2 for the first free trials I am using. So for 1 month it will work. It is clearly mentioning if you want to maintain the roles, you must have either ID P1, P2 roles. So I am selecting this particular role, P2 trial. I have an option here, so I am selecting P2 trial. Let's say this is the user. Now the trial is going to activate. See, 0. Okay. And it will valid for see whenever you are enable such kind of activations, right? So you will be not see you must be expire. If it is before expiry, you must what we need to do? We need to disable this, right? You are trying now. See, okay, it's already I have used. Earlier I have used. I think it is not giving me the option. No, no problem. I can trial another one. Free trial for enter ID governance. This I will activate because I already used that ad. Okay, it's asking me to create the new one. Okay, anyway, this roles and responsibility is not happening here. But when you select, as you have seen for the individual users, you can see for the users, I will show you. Let's I will go to users, right? For individual users, we can allot, but for the group, when I'm allotting, it is not allowing. See, for the individual, let's say I'm assigning some roles. See, there's an option called roles. When you click on the roles, see, I can put in assignments. Okay. So what kind of directory roles? So here the list will be there. There are more than 350 roles are there. Okay. You have a 350 roles you have. So let's say I want to make it as a global. Means global means everyone. Right? Uh, Global administrator. So now it has been alerted. When you refresh, now you can see the global alert. Right? And if you want to alert some specific groups, you can also alert. Like group is there, SOC analyst group, and he is assigned with a role called global administrator. So like you can create the, but for the group it is not allowing me. Why? What is the reason? Reason is for that you required this is if I want to use any permission allotted to this, right? Rules allotments. So it is not giving me permission. Why? Because for this you have to have some extra. I mean, this one is the required license. Similar to the members like you created, same you have to create it. You have to plus click on role and you have to allot the role to this. There is no changes. Okay, but why it is not allowing? For that you must and should have. If you want to make it as a group, you should must and should have some group membership permission, that is premium level of access. So which I don't have. So if I want, I need to pay for that for this activity. Okay, so right now I don't want, so I'm not giving. But similar to the users, you have to give role and role to the groups, right? So that's how you can become master, or you can say you can become admin, you can become a common user likewise. So users we have given similar to that, the same permissions that you can allot to the group, so that whoever the member of the group, he will also get the same permissions. The main focus. Okay. So this is how you can create user and user groups. Okay. So why we are creating user and user group? Because you need to get inside to the system, this particular portal, and need to create some services, right? You need to create some services. So we need to create some services under the subscriptions. So under the subscription right now we have a Trinix and there is no resources yet added. We have not yet added any resources. It's blank, right? So you can add resources from here. Add. So under this, what do you want to add? What kind of plan that you want to add? Everything that you can select. So if you want to create any other subscription under this, you can also create. Okay, but right now I have already one subscription, so I am not touching anything. So the resource and resource group and allotment to the individual users, that we will see in a tomorrow session. Okay, because as there is only 5 to 10 minutes left, it is very difficult to create. Okay, so now what we have understood for the day, we have created users and user groups under this subscription. See, when you go to the subscription, so this is Trinix. See, under the Trinix, we have enter ID and we have created users. Similarly, we have created groups and each group has been allotted with some users and owners. But for the groups, I was unable to allotted. Let's say if I went to any of the user, any of the group, I was unable to allotted the role because of permissions I don't have, because I need to enable some, extra features which I don't have. For that, what I was done, I like the way which I have given to the users, the way I need to same, I need to give the group. But right now I don't have, so I am not giving the permission to the groups. But I have shown you like how to connect to your permissions. See, when you go to the users, so each user, when you click on it, there is an option called assign role option. So you can assign the similar fashion like the way you are assigning here, add assignment and allot a user. Like I am allotting is a automation. Let's say is an automation. Okay. Playbook. No. Let's say what I can give him. There are more than 300 plus permissions that we can give. Okay. Security administrator. We can give security administrator. Let's say. So he has been allotted. So if I create any group, if I allot the same role, the group, whoever the member of that group will also have the same permissions like security group. So here we are giving to individuals. Here we are giving to the individuals in the groups. If you are allotting to that group, whoever the member of that particular group, you will have the same permissions. That is the only difference. You know what is the meaning of user and groups. Okay. So what is the purpose of creating groups? So that it will be very easy for us to automatically grab that particular permissions, whoever the member of that particular group, right? So this is all about for your user and user group. Similarly, once we created a users, so what is the purpose of creating a users? To utilize the resources, right? So now what is our concern? We have users, we have users, we have users, user groups. Now the users and user groups required resources to access. Now, let's say you have joined one organization. So let's say you have joined one organization, and that particular organization, if they have not provided with laptop, how will you work? You cannot work, right? So you have resource, you require a laptop, then only you can work. Similarly, the persons who are the member of the cloud. So if you are the member of this cloud who can access the cloud, but for what reason you are connected, there might be some resources, right? User created, so you are now entering into the system. But what is the use if there is no, what is the use if there is no resources for activity? What is the use if there is no users with us? Sorry. So this is what we need to understand. We need to create users. We need to create users so that we once we create the users, then only we can utilize our services. So the resource and resource creation, resource group creation, that we will see in tomorrow's session. Okay. So that, and also we will allot the resources to the individual users. So let's say whoever the users are there, we will allot each user allotted with some resources so that they will work on that particular resources. That we will see in tomorrow's session. Once it is done, we'll also then we will create Sentinel. Then we will get into the Sentinel. And so this week, will at the end of the day, end of this week, we will become setup of Sentinel expert. How to deploy a Sentinel? What is the purpose of Sentinel? How we need to calculate and all that we will see. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. That's all for the day. We'll meet on tomorrow session. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Okay, bye.